And welcome to Ccclive, the Counselor Community Connection. I'm Marilyn Harriman, Counselor Coordinator for Oakland Schools, retired. Tonight we are going to talk about how do you pay for college. I know that March 2nd is the deadline for seniors right now to turn in their FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid. So I know if you're a parent or a student right now, there's really probably a sense of urgency. But if you're interested in the process, that we hope you will stay with us tonight. And all of the information you'll get tonight will help you plan. We have scholarship providers who will be coming on the show later on, and some special messages. And we have a counselor here who will give you information that you need. And you can also call in with your questions at 874-4541. With me right now in the audience are, as my guests, are Cynthia Gonzalez Garcia and Isabel Cortez, and they will be talking to you in just a moment. But first, I have a very special message for you from our First Lady, Michelle Obama. I'm so excited that she was speaking at the Counselor Convention in Washington, D.C., and had so much to share and is so interested in your success. So let's roll that clip from our First Lady now.
Hey everybody. You know, in today's world, if you want to get a good job and build a good future for yourself and your family, you've got to continue your education past high school. Whether that's a four-year school, a community college, or a professional training program. And filling out the FAFSA form is one of the first and most important steps you can take in that journey, because it's no secret that college can be expensive. The 2015 FAFSA is available now. It's quick, it's free, and it can help you access thousands of dollars to help you and your family pay for college. And here's the thing, if you fill out the FAFSA early, you can be sure that you're getting the most financial aid that is available to you. So don't delay, fill out the FAFSA today. It's one of the best ways to help you make your college dreams come true. Oh, and one more thing. My FAFSA Commencement Challenge is underway, so I want you to show me how your school is taking action to get more students to fill out their FAFSA this year. So fill out your FAFSA, make a video, and share it online. And who knows, maybe I'll get to thank you at your graduation next spring.
Wow, we're so excited. So excited about our First Lady and what she had to say. And she did put out a challenge, and it may be one of those challenges that maybe here in KDOL, our studio students might be able to meet that challenge and get some extra money. Who knows? I'm so proud of her. And right now, I'd like to go to you, Isabel. We have our representative from our own state senator, Lonnie Hancock. Isabel, tell us what our message is from Lonnie Hancock.
Well, I want to thank you for having me here. Senator Hancock most definitely helps and assists students at the state legislature to provide financial aid, and she also sits on the budget committee and advocates for our students in terms of education and financial aid and programs such as the East Bay Consortium. The senator who represents the Senate 9th District, which ranges from Richmond to Pinal all the way to Oakland and down to San Leandro, really is an advocate of career technical education for our students. We also send a newsletter and an e-blast which provides assistance for our students to apply for financial aid, and we list the East Bay Consortium Cash for College workshops.
I think that's wonderful. Well, she's made a huge difference. I go to Sacramento once a month to help influence legislation however I can for student support, and she has been one of our champions, and we really appreciate that. Isabel, in fact, I think I'd like to see if you looked in the camera a little bit. Tell a little bit about your story.
Yeah, so I am from Humboldt, but I moved to the Bay Area in 2008. At the time, I was an undocumented student, and I attended Mills College, and I graduated from Mills in 2012. And shortly after, I received my master's in public policy, and I have been working with the senator since. I did receive a lot of financial aid through private funding, and I'm one of 10, so I definitely knew that going to college was going to be a great challenge, but I also knew that I had a great community supporting me. I was part of Educations for Fair Consideration when I was in college, and the Mills College itself also allowed me and gave me exceptional financial aid, both on merit and personal challenges as well. And I'm thankful and I'm very excited to speak to the students tonight and to tell them that if you really put your mind to it, you can most certainly get your bachelor's and your master's and your PhD or your law degree or your medical degree, whatever it is that you're set to do. And then I joined the California State Senate months after graduating from my master's.
Wow, that is really exciting. Now, when you were an undocumented student, the DREAM Act wasn't available, was it?
No, I definitely did not benefit from the DREAM Act.
So we're going to hear more about that later, and maybe later on you'll have something to contribute.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's the thing that I guess one of the messages we're going to have tonight, hopefully on the show, is that money is there, and it might not be as easy to find it, but if you are persistent and you have a dream for yourself about what you might do, that's going to come through. Thank you so much for sharing that. Cynthia, I'd like to go to you right now. I know you are the regional coordinator for Cash for College for the East Bay Consortium, and how many workshops? Tell us just briefly about it.
So Cash for College is a statewide initiative, and there's over 600 workshops that are taking place. And we currently have 49 workshops. So we're about halfway through in just Alameda County and Contra Costa County. There's actually a workshop tonight at Oakland Tech happening here. So we have a great attendance. I already got an image of students that are attending. So we help students submit their financial aid forms, whether it's the FAFSA or the California DREAM Act, the CHAFE, Cal Grant. So we encourage students to attend these free workshops to apply for financial aid.
Okay, well, in fact, I'm hoping later we're going to be able to sneak over to the Oakland Tech and see what's going on there. Thanks, Cynthia. Right now, we've got some students here with us in the audience, and in different phases of their school career. And let's meet them now. I'd like to find out what some of their questions on. Would you just introduce yourself, and then maybe I'd like to say maybe where you are in the process. Maram, let's start with you.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Maram Jahate, and I am a recent graduate of St. Mary's College of California, and I was alumni of also East Bay College Fund. And being an alumni, for a college alumni, sometimes I think about it, if I had known some things before I started college, it would have helped me so much more. And one of them being, when would have been a good time to start applying for scholarship? Because I waited till my junior year to start looking for scholarships, and it really did reflect going to a private college. It really did reflect how much money I didn't have. So when is a good time? I wish I knew when is a good time to start applying for college in high school. Applying for scholarships in high school.
That's great. And I think I'd like to have them look at the camera so you could. Stephanie, let's hear from you.
Hi, I'm Stephanie, and my process right now is I attended the Cash for College workshop that we had, and it was a lot of help because I wasn't really sure what FAFSA was. I had seen my older sister go through the process, but I never really took much time. I wasn't really curious. So when we had the workshop, it was really helpful for me because there was many things that I didn't understand. And that same day, I got my FAFSA done, and kind of like what she was saying before, I kind of wish I knew when to look for scholarships because now I'm a senior, soon graduating, and I'm working on the East Bay College Fund scholarship and many other scholarships, but I just kind of feel like I should have took more time into looking at what other scholarships are out there that will benefit for me.
So what kind of worries have your parents had?
I think my parents had a couple of worries of how they're going to balance out paying for college for me and my sister because we're both going to be attending college at the same time. So that I kind of feel like that's something that goes to their head of how they're gonna manage that.
Yeah, I'm sure. Okay,
Yeah.
and you're at Life Academy?
Yeah, I'm a Life Academy.
Okay, that is great. Well, let's hear from Jonathan and tell us what school you're going to.
Well, my name is Jonathan, and I go to Skyline High School, and I'm a sophomore there. And basically, since I'm a sophomore, I don't know all this kind of stuff that all these seniors need to do. So basically, my question is, how do you get started?
How do you get started? Wow, yeah, that's a good question. What is it you want to study? What were you telling me that you were thinking about studying?
Well, I wanted to study more about computer science because I'm really into computers and coding and doing this stuff. I just love hanging around technology.
And one of the things I learned about you today is that you are an intern here at KDOL.
Yeah.
So how did that happen?
Well, basically during when I was registering to Skyline during the 9th grade, there usually this booth, and there was a guy there who called Jake, and he basically told me all this kind of stuff KDOL TV does, and all this stuff, and I got into it.
Pretty fun, huh?
Yes.
All right. Never know what opportunities. In fact, some of the students that started working with the show the very first time are working with us tonight behind the scenes. And that makes me really, really excited to have Winnie and Graham and Ramesses. And Ramesses Head, who is a major producer, has his own business, has been directing this show for a long time. So we thank you, Ram and Graham, and then Winnie, who's doing CG. It's wonderful. Okay, so Hugo, let's hear something about your experience.
Hello, my name is Hugo Torres Ortega, and I am alumni from UC Santa Cruz. I graduated from high school. I went to Fremont High School, and I graduated in 2008. For me, at the time, I was an undocumented student, so I didn't really apply for FAFSA, and I didn't have the opportunity to apply to many scholarships because it required a Social Security number. Thanks to Assembly Bill 130 and 131, now that's not the case for students. So for me, it would have been the question of how do I go about writing a proposal to prospective donors, and how to go about writing a just a general donor letter to ask for money.
Wow, that's something else. A lot of times there are ways you can ask for money. And how would you do that? Well, that's another question. Maybe I hope we get a chance to explore that, but it's something to think about. I mean, you could write a nice letter to your grandmother or to your neighbors and people, and maybe even those kinds of things. And what would be something you would include in such a letter?
Your needs.
Your
where
needs?
You're planning to attend and study, and what even a small donation would help.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be great if somebody knew what you were really excited and interested in and what you really wanted to do, and you said those kind of things? It's like when I help people apply for jobs and write cover letters for jobs. And there have a lot of things that have to come. It's just like writing a good cover letter. I think that's a great idea. Wow, thank you so much. I'd like to hear from Musli. She is in a really interesting place. All right.
Hello, my name is Musli. I graduated from Skyline High School in 2011. I then went to UC San Diego, where I graduated in 2011 from UC San Diego, and I'm currently on leave from graduate school. I'm studying to become a physician assistant. For me, at Skyline, my biggest struggle was just, as a first-generation college student, navigating the whole process of attending college was a struggle for me and my family. So I had a lot of mentors that I depended on, who kept me motivated, who were very, who I could turn to if I had any questions. And as far as financial aid, I remember at Skyline we had newsletters that came out, and they would post different scholarships in the newsletters. So I would check to see, okay, what do I qualify for this scholarship? Can I apply? So I applied for a lot of scholarships while I was at Skyline. And I also went online often to see if there were other scholarships that I could apply for. So thankfully, when I got to UC San Diego, I took out very minimum amount of loans because of my initiative as far as seeking scholarships. And also another option that I took opportunity of was working during college. So I didn't start to work until my sophomore year of college, and I try to find a work that will lead me to my career, but also at the same time pay for college. So it's kind of like killing two birds with one stone.
Well, I heard a lot of persistence, and I'm hearing that tonight, really, a lot of our people are here with us primarily. Some were undocumented and first generation, and that's a lot harder, isn't it? Because you don't usually have the role models and people that are kind of pushing you along the way. So, all right. I'd like right now maybe to talk about those workshops, and let's go to a clip on what to bring to a Cash for College workshop. Roll that clip. Okay. So now, hey, that was great. So now Jose and Rocio, come on. And I think, Glenn, don't you agree that it's better when you're looking in the camera?
Okay, so when I first went to a Catch for College event, I didn't know what to expect. So what you should expect to take, some of the stuff that you should expect to take, your identifications, take your tax information. If you can take your parent with you, that is very helpful, so they can help you fill out all the forms. And once you go in, we have different workshops available. So there's different people separated in different rooms. We have, for tax information, or we have a presentation on the FAFSA for English or Spanish. We also have help for undocumented students for AB 540. So we have different workshops, and we have advisors that help you with the FAFSA one-on-one. So.
And right now we're really trying to promote, getting the FAFSA application done and sent on site. And with that we have, computers that out there. If you've done it on a paper, or we could transfer that onto a computer, create an account on spot. Get your PIN number. Or if you have your PIN number already, that's very useful, because then you could use it to submit. You need one, and your parents need one. That's sort of your signature to sign the application. And that's what we're promoting. On site, you complete the application and you send it off, and you submit it, so you don't have to worry about it again. Unless you need to update some information, like it. But
I mean, and if you need that one-on-one, like you absolutely do not know what you're doing, or you just don't know what number to put in from the W-2 or something like that, or you don't even know what a W-2 is, we'll sit down with you. I remember sitting down with a parent last year for about 30 minutes filling out the FAFSA, and when we were done, she jumped up and screamed because she was finally done with it. And it was, because she kept raising her hand every 5 seconds, so I just pulled up a chair right next to her and just sat down and did it with her.
Okay, that's great. Okay, now I know that there's some things about this particular clip that have changed a little bit. It used to be we could get $1,000 just for showing up, or a chance at an extra $1,000. So I want you to tell us more about the statewide initiative, and about what that's going to be like, and what students need to bring.
So as I mentioned before, there's over 600 workshops across the state of California. And so here in the Bay Area, if you attend an Oakland Unified School, you probably receive one of these posters that lists the 49 workshops happening in the Bay Area. And so what's really important for you to bring any recent tax documents. A common misconception for students is that if you haven't filed your current tax returns, or your parents haven't filed tax returns, that you can't apply for financial aid yet. So you can bring your prior year taxes. There used to be a $1,000 scholarship incentive per workshop, but now there's the funding is no longer available for that because we've grown so much in the state. But if you still attend a Cash for College workshop, you enter a drawing for a $2,000 scholarship. And here in the regional East Bay, we will have 4 scholarships awarded to students that attend.
Wow, I think that's great. Now, how many workshops have you done already?
over 30. I think we're past the halfway mark now.
I just think it's incredible. Now, did you hear about the challenge that Michelle Obama had put out to different schools?
Yeah, in some of our schools, I believe Castlemont's one of them, we also work with the Get Schooled initiative, which is also a national challenge for students to complete their FAFSA and their DREAM Act. And so there's a percentage of the school. If you increase the percentage of students that submitted their applications, you have a chance for a celebrity to be like a principal for the day, or like Michelle Obama suggested.
Oh, wow.
She could come to your high school graduation. So
that would be great. In fact, I do have to say, because we're so excited that there was a counselor from California that made counselor of the state, I think, or at least she's a candidate for statewide counselor of the year. They're back at Washington, D.C. right now. I just got a Facebook message, and her principal went back with her, and they're so thrilled about it. And I can't wait to check that out. Mm-hmm. So I think we have a chance to kind of eavesdrop on a real live workshop at Oakland Tech right now. Maybe Camille will be there, and let's see. Can we just do that, Mario, a wizard of connections here? I think we're live. Oh, there it is. Look at this. So where is this? In the library?
That's in the library.
Yes, we're at the library
right,
at Oakland Tech High School right now with our Cash for College event with families and volunteers and students coming to fill out the FAFSA and DREAM Act application.
Can she hear me? Oh, that's so great. This is just so exciting. So let's see. Are you going to be able to talk to a couple of students or parents for us, and let's see what their issues are?
So the parents and students right now are hard at work. We just finished a raffle. We also took a little break and raffled off some Jamba Juice cards and movie tickets. And right now, after a short presentation, all the parents and students are working away. To my right here, I have one of our college advisors, Elizabeth Hunter, who's here as one of the volunteers. I'm going to put her on as well, just to talk a little bit about the support and the common questions and things that we're supporting students with here tonight.
Okay, let's hear from you, Elizabeth.
Hello. Hello.
There you are.
Hi.
Okay, this is fun. Okay, I love this. Ideas sometimes can work, isn't it fun? Okay,
Definitely.
So tell us about what you do to support.
Well, right now I'm here supporting with the assistance of FAFSA, so I'm trying to get their tax information in, make sure they get it in by March 2nd for that deadline, making sure that everybody understands exactly why they're filling out this FAFSA. A lot of parents have been asking, well, what if I made too much? Will they even get any money? And we're like, this is really important. It's for community colleges, 4 years, art institutions, private, all across.
Well, I know parents are pretty worried about, a lot of times they don't want to reveal their information. So how is that kept separate?
So we have a lot of parents who don't want their kids knowing and are comfortable with us knowing. And so, we have the, kids step aside, join some other activities while we sit one-on-one with the parents, or they want to go home and actually fill out that parent information. So they give us numbers, just guesstimates basically, and go, so if I make this much, how much should I put? What should I put? Which line? We walk them through it, and they can go home in private and fill it out on their own. We also give out our cards so they can email us. And we can actually do a Google chat and walk them through it without anyone knowing at the school, even their kids.
Okay, so is it true that they have to have a separate PIN number, or they can have a separate PIN number?
Yeah, parents need their own PIN number to sign in and to sign the FAFSA to make sure that information is accurate.
And is it true that everybody files electronically now? There's no longer any other way to file?
No, I'm sorry, say that again?
Is it true that everybody has to file electronically?
Yes, so everybody files electronically. We make sure that we are given the computers, the time. So as long as they're coming to school, they definitely have the resources to fill out electronically, whether they're going to give their students information, if they're going to come up to the school. A lot of times we try to work with the parents who don't have the access to the computers, so they can e-sign it, and they come talk to us and walk it through. They can even call us, and we'll actually do the application with the students there. Fill out their PIN for them. A lot of students do it for their parents, and just submit it right then and there.
Okay, any quick advice that you have for our students?
Yes, the advice I have is fill it out by March 2nd. You want that Cal Grant, and just something really, really important. When you're putting in your 10 schools, make sure you have a good raffle of the schools. You want a UC, a CSU, even a private, so that Cal Grant can come through to all those different types of schools, so you can compare your financial aid awards.
Okay, so and you mentioned Cal Grant. I don't think we've talked about it. Maybe I have to have Cynthia talk about Cal Grants. What do you think? Should I come back to you, Cynthia, and have you talk about Cal Grants?
Sounds good.
All right, let's do. Tell us about what Cal Grants are.
So the reason why the March 2nd deadline is so important is because that is the deadline for California to apply for a Cal Grant. And so Cal Grant is for students who are residents of California and are attending a California school, and you can receive up to $12,000 a year with a Cal Grant.
So if you don't fill out the FAFSA, you can't get a Cal Grant. Is that
Correct.
right?
A FAFSA or DREAM Act.
So you have to fill out those forms. Leslie, did we lose the people over at Tech?
Yeah,
okay, that was really fun, and thank you for making that happen. I was glad we got to really eavesdrop on that. That's a big workshop too. Okay, so joining us right now are Jose Rocha and Rocio Preciado, and Jose, I would like you to, first of all, we're very happy to have you as a dean from Holy Names.
Oh, thank you.
And you're our financial aid expert. So tell us about some of the problems that kids have filling out financial aid.
One of the challenges is obviously families releasing their information. So it's important for families to release their financial information and what's going on, so we actually could get a better idea, a better glimpse of how to what kind of money to give the students themselves. What it does, it actually triggers what's called an EFC, an expected family contribution. And what that does, it actually allows the schools to know how much...
EFC.
EFC. And what it does, it allows the schools to know how much in money to give the students as far as federal, state, and institutional money itself. So it's important for families to actually have that information, submit their applications on time, get all the documents in, submit their Cal Grant, so they actually could trigger a lot of the money and a lot of the support they could get once at the university.
And if parents don't have their income tax ready now, I mean, I'm sure it wouldn't have it ready now. Some, I guess, do. I guess they can just estimate?
Yeah, they could estimate. They could use last year's information. So obviously we're trying to capture year 2014, so they could use 2013 as an estimate.
Okay.
And then later on, once the taxes are done, they could actually use the current information as well.
So what are the most common errors that people make?
Some of the most common is like how much money they actually put on there, the dollar amounts, what information they released, like how much money they actually have in the bank account. That's some of the most common errors. Also, as students, as a follow-up, they don't submit their verification forms, which is important for the universities to know exactly if everything's correct and kind of just going from that next step. So it's important for students to check their portal accounts, to check what exactly they have to do as far as their next steps from one point to the rest.
Is it a problem? I think I was hearing something about some kids have been saving, quarters and dollars here and there since they were, kindergarten or before they were born. Parents have been contributing a fund, and there may be a separate little fund there. Now, does that have to be reported?
Everything has to be reported. It's a snapshot of your financial situation. So IRAs or any of that nature, we should know. And
so what the student has is the same as what the parents have. That gets all added together?
Yeah, so just imagine like a picture of the day, what's going on in that family at that situation, where they have money aside or if they have any in the bank or, what they make per year.
Okay, and so what if the financial aid doesn't come through in time? And they've been admitted, let's say they're admitted to Holy Names or to Stanford or someplace, and it doesn't come through, what happens to their status?
So the ideal time to submit their application is March 2nd. However, it runs on an 18-month cycle. So if they miss the March 2nd deadline, and that's triggered to the Cal Grant, then the student may not qualify for the Cal Grant at that time, but they could qualify later on through different other programs.
So then they might not be admitted?
No, they could be admitted. That's not a problem. Okay. That's two different separate situations.
Okay, so the school might say, okay, we know you're going to get it, or not.
As far as financial aid, it all depends.
Okay, so that, in other words, better make sure you get everything in. And so what kind of tips would you have for students?
Submit your information on time, your FAFSA or your California DREAM Act. Get your Cal Grant in. And then ask for, look out for scholarships, whatever other opportunities. There's different ones you could actually go to. And as far as scholarships, when you're doing the search engines, please don't pay for any scholarships.
Oh,
it
that's
should be
important.
all free. And so why give money when you're trying to ask for money.
Because we're gonna be talking to some scholarship providers later, and our counselor, Mr. Padilla, and that I know is a big problem. Sometimes you get people who want you to pay for certain services, don't you? And you don't need to. It's free. There's a lot of information there, and you do not need to pay another party for that kind of help. Do you think students should and our parents take out loans?
It's a reality. It's an option for families. They're capped, so if let's say they're doing the Stafford loans, freshmen can only get out up to $5,500 for that freshman year, and it's just another help. It's just another form of aid. So what people believe that financial aid is all free money, but actually encompasses of three things: grants, work studies, and loans. And so it's always an option that students have if they want to take it, if they could afford it.
Okay, so grants, work studies, and loans. And we don't want our students to have a lot of loans. So we hope that those scholarship things will come through. We'll hear more about later. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
We're really, really happy to have you here. And I know Holy Names had offered something to our ninth graders a couple of years ago, and I think some of those are coming through already, where we've got some students already taking advantage of that special offer of Holy Names University, and we're really excited about that.
Thank you.
So, Rocio, I'd like to hear from you now. Tell us about AB 540. What does it mean?
Yes, thank you for the invitation. I am currently the outreach coordinator at Educators for Fair Consideration, and we do a lot of work informing undocumented young people about the resources available to them. And like you mentioned, one of the benefits available to students is the California Dream Act, and to be able to qualify, they must qualify under AB 540. And AB 540, what it is has the requirements that you need to have graduated from a California high school, have completed at least 3 years of high school credits in a high school in California. You need to have attended at least 3 years in a K through 12 school in California, and you need to submit the affidavit. And this is a form that states that you will legalize your status as soon as you're able to do so.
Wow. So what are some of the biggest problems that students have encountered?
That's a great question. With different policies and with new resources available to undocumented students now, there is a lot of confusion about what are the different resources available to them and what those resources are. When I was a student in high school in 2009, the only benefit available to me was AB 540, which allowed me to pay in-state tuition. And the other resource available to me were scholarships. Now, with the California Dream Act, we have students applying for financial aid through the California Dream Act. And in 2012, when the California Dream Act was implemented, we also had deferred action for childhood arrivals passed, which allows students to have their deportation deferred, obtain a work authorization, and a social security number. Now, a big confusion is that students confuse the California Dream Act, which is an application that will give them financial aid, and deferred action for childhood arrivals, which would give them a work authorization.
Do they fill out the FAFSA?
There are students who do fill out the FAFSA, and that's because they are either not aware about their immigration status, or because they're not aware that there's a separate application that they need to fill out.
Okay, because they don't have a social security number. That's
correct.
That's the problem. Okay, so what are the biggest fears of families?
One of the biggest fears that I have been able to see is when parents are having to provide their information and when the parent themselves are undocumented as well.
So they're kind of scared.
They're scared because for many years, the undocumented population has been told to never share their status or to never share any information that could give away your immigration status. And now with these resources, there is a need to be able to share information with schools and with CCClive, who is the one that administers the California Dream Act.
How about any success stories? You got a success story you'd like to tell us?
Sure. Well,
You're
I
one.
graduated. I graduated from Lionel Wilson, a college preparatory academy in Oakland in 2009, and I attended UC Santa Cruz as an undocumented student. And the only resources that I was able to qualify for were in-state tuition, and I had the opportunity to find a private donor who paid my 4 years at UC Santa Cruz, thanks to sharing my personal story and my struggle with them.
Okay, so that's where the letter comes in, and being able to share your story. I think that makes a big difference. And a lot of times you might find that there are other resources for you had never even considered. Right now, one of the biggest issues I think for our middle class is that they feel like they've been and have been really kind of squeezed as far as finding enough money to pay for their students. And I know teachers are really struggling to help their students, and we're looking at sometimes people are thinking, gee, the only people who are getting money are people who don't have any, and that doesn't seem right. So I know that there's been a lot going on to try to make that better. Cynthia, can you tell us about what's going on for the middle class?
Yeah, some universities, for example, UC Berkeley has a program specifically for the middle class population, but most recently in the state of California, the Middle Class Scholarship was instituted last year, and so it was the first year, the 24th, or this current school year, the 14-15 school year, that students have received aid through the Middle Class Scholarship. And the only application that students need to complete is the FAFSA and the California Dream, or the California Dream Act. And so it's for families whose adjusted gross income, they could earn up to $150,000 a year.
It's a lot. It sounds like a lot. Okay, so that should help. Now, so what about for students, we haven't talked about community college. What about students going to community college? Are the deadlines different?
No, and so actually one of the common questions I get at a workshop where a student might not want to go to a workshop is because they don't think they can apply for financial aid yet because they haven't applied to community college, because the applications don't open usually until end of February, March, or April. So on the FAFSA and the DREAM Act, you can list the community college you're planning to apply to. And if you're not sure, you can list 4 or 5, you can list up to 10 schools. So even if you haven't applied yet, you want to submit your application because you can qualify for the Cal Grant if you're attending community college. But the most common award you could receive is the Board of Governors fee waiver, which covers tuition and fees. And both students who complete FAFSA or DREAM Act would be eligible for that.
Okay, now I'm wondering, how many years can you receive a FAFSA?
Well, you don't. FAFSA gives you the EFC, so the federal government the federal government's giving the aid, which would be the Pell Grant. You can only receive up to 6 years, and Cal Grant comes from the state government. That's up to 4 years.
Okay, so I remember somebody was talking about should they apply in that first year when it might be less expensive, go to community college. Mm-hmm. So they save that money. Does it cover graduate school as well?
No. So it's only Pell Grant and Cal Grant are only for undergraduate students in community college or 4-year institutions.
Now, Pell Grant, is that different from the FAFSA?
You get a Pell Grant by completing a FAFSA. So remember, FAFSA is not giving you the aid; they're giving you the EFC. Yes.
The Pell Grant is
an example, yep, of a grant.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so and if a student doesn't think that they're going to college.
We have students who aren't sure, and if you're able to take 20-30 minutes to just submit the forms, we recommend doing it because your options may change. You may graduate from high school and decide I want to enroll in a class in community college, and now your FAFSA or DREAM Act has been completed and you can receive aid. If you don't attend, nothing happens with your FAFSA or DREAM Act being on file. Okay. You can just reapply because you have to resubmit every year.
Every year you have to reapply. All right, Cynthia, thank you. This is just absolutely great information. Now, last year, I did visit Mr. Padilla over at Oakland High, and I thought we would roll that clip again. Also, there was a workshop in progress about the East Bay College Fund. So I think it would be great if we could roll that clip now, and then when we come back later, we'll be talking to Mr. Padilla and some of our scholarship providers. Okay, let's roll that clip.
My name is Calvin Thatch. I am from Oakland High, and I am a senior, a 12th grader, and I will be applying for college.
So, Calvin, how are you going to pay for college?
I will pay for college by asking my counselor, Mr. Padilla. He will recommend me many options that I can use, like financial aid or scholarships.
Carlos Padilla, counselor at Oakland High School.
Hi, Ms. Padilla. Tell me, what are some of the biggest problems you see facing your seniors right now?
The biggest problems would be that some of them think they've graduated, so they don't follow through and complete the courses that they've signed up for. The other problem would be from a financial standpoint, make sure that they do their FAFSA form completely and accurately. So they need to get information from their parents in terms of what the income was for last year, either through the 1040 form or the public statements that they get in terms of income. I would say those would be the biggest concerns for the seniors, and also making decisions on, what type of school do they actually want to go to. Most of them have already applied, so now it's just following up with the FAFSA, but also following through with any private scholarships that they can get.
So, what kind of support are you providing at Oakland High?
We have we do classroom visitations, presentations. We have people who come in and talk to them. We have the Educational Guidance Center is here. We have 3 different upper bound programs that work with within students also, and there are other organizations who work with our students.
2008, and I graduated from UC Davis in 2012. I'm here to present to you about a scholarship program, East Bay College Fund. How many of you guys have heard about this program?
I've heard about it.
Okay.
My counselors have told me about it, but I just...
Okay. But that's one thing that we do is the money part, where we fund you guys to go to college. And then the second part is we provide personal mentors that will be basically there for you since day one. When you get to college, these are people who've gone through this process. They know what they're talking about. If, for instance, you want to be a lawyer, we match you up with somebody who is another lawyer. And basically they sort of guide you step by step.
Hi, my name is Ayana George, and I attend Oakland High School. I don't know how I'm going to pay for college, but what's going to help me, I hope, is scholarships, grants, and financial aid that I can acquire from whichever school I choose to attend.
Now, you just heard about a scholarship today.
I did.
Was that the first time you'd heard about it?
No, it's not the first time I've heard about it, but this was the first time that it was in extensive detail to where I know what I have to do to actually get these scholarships. So, yeah, I'm really thankful for that presentation.
I want to become an ER specialist, so I'm working on trying to get my bachelor's and go to grad school, so it's going to be a lot of money.
It's going to be fun. Well, how are you going to pay for college?
Some help with financial aid and signing up for a lot of scholarships and hopefully getting some scholarships.
Now, what have you done already?
I started on essays. I have a FastWeb account, a CapEx account, and just different places where I can sign up for scholarships. My boss at California Justice, she helps me she helped me sign up for all my colleges, and she's helped me hash things out and try to figure out what I want to do for what I want to do in college and whatnot.
Hi, my name is Julia, and I'm a senior at Oakland High. And
so tell me, have you applied for college already?
yes, I applied at Fresno State and UC Davis.
So what kind of problems do you want to solve?
I really don't know, but I want to help people. That's my main goal.
Okay, so and what else are you doing to see that you're going to have enough money for college?
I'm working part-time in San Francisco.
What are you doing?
I work at the Asian Art Museum.
That was fun. So some of those students, they're in college now, and I was hoping to be able to bring a couple of them on to let them talk about how the process worked for them when they were seniors. Let's go back to our students here for a minute. Let's see if you're getting some questions answered or if you've got some new questions coming up. Okay, Stephanie, let's go to you.
Well, I have some questions about the Marcus Foster Scholarship. Kind of wondering of what's the process of it, because I did hear someone mention that it's kind of like the same application as the East Bay College Fund. So I guess I kind of want to know what is it, more about it?
Okay, we're going to have Mr. Padilla will be able to tell us about that. Any other questions that are you getting answered? Jonathan, what's going on for you? Have you learned anything tonight so far?
Well, basically learned about basically stuff that I knew about, like the FAFSA and more more stuff. Well,
And so, are you thinking that maybe right now is a good time to start thinking about it?
yes.
Sophomores, it's a good time to start thinking about it, or even earlier. Okay, I'm going to go right to Mr. Padilla, who is our counselor and scholarship expert, and you are the head counselor at Oakland High and scholarship counselor. So tell us what happens at the school site.
At the school site, well, one of my responsibilities is also provide scholarship information. So there's a student, the last couple of years we've had a Oakland High School Facebook page, and there's a student who handles that. We give them the information about scholarships. I also try to get the information out to the teachers. Now, there are some scholarships we can only nominate a student, so then I sit down with our student activities director or department head. It depends on the scholarship. For example, Comcast had a scholarship. The deadline passed already where we could nominate one student. She got it. She got $1,000. And actually, this young lady, as a junior, so all juniors, the Nordstrom scholarship should be coming up probably within the next month or two. And so Sherry got $10,000. The two ladies from Nordstrom came by. They presented to one of those big blank checks.
If you don't apply, you don't get any money.
Exactly. So she got, not only did she get the $10,000, but she also received an Apple laptop computer right there, and they gave it to her. So, so they're like, so there was a lot of good benefits. But the one thing I want to say, like, I think that students need to do, and you said it started earlier, it's really as soon as possible. One is to challenge yourself academically, take the most challenging classes you can at your school. The other thing is to get involved in activities, whether it's sports, clubs, student government, your church, anything to build up the extracurricular activities. But don't get involved to the extent that it starts affecting your grade point average, your courses. If the extracurricular activities start affecting your academics, then you're doing too many activities.
You think people do that?
Yes, I've seen it.
Okay, well, one of the things I wanted to ask about is what's happening with the GPA verification form. That's a really important thing, and I know it used to be a problem getting it turned in from each of the school sites. How's that being handled in Oakland now?
Well, it used to be that there was a paper application, but for several years now, the district will electronically submit the grade point average of all the seniors to the California Student Aid Commission. Now, this is the GPA that is 10th and 11th grade.
So you don't have to be worried, but students don't have to be worried about their counselors not getting it in.
Correct.
Okay.
But what students need to do is to make sure that the name we have in our computer base on the ARIES is the name that is, if they have a Social Security card, is the name that's on their Social Security card.
Okay, this is a problem, is making sure that you've got the same name that's on your Social Security card that is in your school information. I remember that. A lot of kids will have their nicknames, and sometimes you'll never know that they've got a different name, and you might lose out.
Yeah, so it's incumbent, I think, upon the adults to remind the students that, make sure. So every year we're making a couple minor changes, not a lot, but it's important because you don't want the students to have problems later on, that getting a letter saying, well, your name doesn't match, with our records.
Okay, that's an important one. Now, I heard good question over here, Stephanie. What about the Marcus Foster Scholarship? I know I've been involved with that for many years on that committee. Carlos, tell us about the Marcus Foster Scholarship.
Well, it's one of the, they've been around. Marilyn and I used to be on the scholarship committee, but now it's all, again, everything is online. You apply online. And actually, Cynthia was whispering something in my ear.
So to your question about the Marcus Foster Scholarship, that's their scholarship is online, and you do one application that's for many scholarships, whether it's like the Port of Oakland or one for teachers. You see which ones you would qualify for, but in addition to that, there's actually what's called the East Bay College Access Network Scholarship. So by submitting your FAFSA or DREAM Act, that's entering you for a possibility to win a scholarship through the East Bay College Access Network, which is the EB-CAN scholarship.
Now, one thing along with that, once the student applies, they do need to list somebody, they're going to list teachers, counselors, to submit documentations for them. So right now I have a list of about, this is in my emails, about 15 students at least, who I have to send transcripts to the East Bay College Fund. So I just do it electronically. So it's a little bit of work on our end, but it's,
Okay, so I'm going to go right to that. And right now, let's find out about the East Bay College Fund. And Marem and Ugo are here that can tell us about that. And we saw something in the workshop. Now, I'm very, very pleased that Andy and Barb Fender started this thing. Probably was just as I retired. We featured them since the very beginning, 01 or 02 or 03, something like that. And it has just grown exponentially. So if you want something to contribute to out there, if you're watching, that's a very good place to donate some funds. And also, I know we're going to hear Dollars for Scholars is another good place to contribute. We're going to hear about that in a minute. So let's hear about the East Bay College Fund. Marem.
Yeah, so the East Bay College Fund, as you say, we've been around since 2003. And since then, we've given about more than $1 million worth of scholarship money to students who have graduated from any Oakland charter or public schools and are going to any college, 4-year college within the U.S. So it can be anywhere from the east to the west, to the south, to the north of the U.S. The scholarship right now is open. So it's $16,000 Great Expectation Scholarship, and it's given every year for 4 years. And then the things we record, the criteria we require is basically, first you have to graduate, again, like I said, from any OUSD or charter high schools within Oakland. And then the next thing is you have to submit the FAFSA, you have to submit DREAM Act or FAFSA, whichever you apply to. And since our scholarship is actually due in February 12th, you don't really need to submit the FAFSA right away. Once you submit your FAFSA, no matter when you submit it, by March 2nd, but once you submit it, just give it to us. And then we also ask for 2 personal statements and some recommendation letters. And things we look for in our scholarship is resiliency. We want to be able to know that you are really resilient throughout high school, that in college you will use that resilient skills you learn through high school to succeed in college. Second, your responsibility, that you've taken your responsibility involvement, that you've been through a lot of clubs, like what you mentioned, clubs, sports, anything that's outside of academics. At the same time, your leadership skills, at the same time, but also your responsibility, that even though you are some part of so many things, you are responsible to take care of your classes, to wake up, to go to class, all that stuff.
So is the application similar to the Marcus Foster?
It's kind of similar. I'm not 100% familiar with the Marcus Foster, but our application is online, and when you go to eastbaycollegefund.org, you can find the application link there. And it's all online. Like I said, you just put your personal information, your name, address, all that stuff. And then another part, you write down your essay, the 2 essays. One is 500 words and the other one's 250 words. And then the next one, you just add in your recommendation letter providers. And then, and then the colleges you're applying to. So your top colleges that you have applied to, that you want to go to. And then once you get accepted, then we'll ask you what college you're going to.
That's wonderful. Ugo, do you have anything to add to that?
My name is Ugo Torres Ortega, and I am a college advisor with East Bay College Fund as well as an alumni. What I want to say is that East Bay College Fund is not just a scholarship program, and I say this because East Bay College Fund not only provides students with a 4-year, $16,000 4-year scholarship, but it also provides students with a mentor, ongoing college advising and counseling, as well as life skills for students. And one thing that I find very interesting and impressive is that because East Bay College Fund has been working with students who are underrepresented in higher education by providing access and college success, it has been changing the demographics of students who earn a college degree. So that to me is very important.
Okay, wow, that is just, this is an incredible opportunity out there. I hope you're hearing it. And now I'm going to let you hear about Dollars for Scholars. And I'm very proud to introduce to you Raul Ruiz, who is an engineer, I believe, with East Bay Mud.
Yes.
And I have to say proud because he was one of my students at McClymonds High School, a top student, and was sought out all over the country particularly by the military, and he ended up being my second Stanford graduate, and I was fortunate to get to see him graduate. I'm very proud of you, and he has a couple of children. So tell us about Dollars for Scholars. I know you keep asking me for donations. I'm going to have to hear some more.
Well, thank you for the invite. It's always great to see you, and I'm definitely happy to be here to talk about Oakland Dollars for Scholars. So again, my name is Raul Ruiz. I'm the treasurer with Oakland Dollars for Scholars. I've been with the group for about 4 years. We give renewable 4-year scholarships, $1,000 per year that you renew every year. And our scholarships are dedicated really to high school seniors graduating from Oakland. So you can live outside, but if you're graduating from a school in Oakland and you have a 2.5 GPA, you can qualify. Our application is also online. You can get there by going to oakland.dollarsforscholars.org. So.
Now, do you get all that information to the school sites? I mean, Mr. Padilla, did you know about Dollars for Scholars?
Yes.
Well,
I got it last week. Somebody sent it to me.
Probably Cynthia, yeah. So we're actually, even though we are a small chapter, we're actually an affiliate of a larger national chapter. Scholarship for America is the national chapter. So when you do our application online, even though you're qualifying or trying to qualify for our Oakland scholarship, it actually opens you up to scholarships across the nation. As long as you meet their criteria, you can actually qualify, and it'll automatically let you know what you qualify for, and then you can pick those that you want to apply for. So, and we also have an affiliate program with schools, a lot of East Bay, Cal States and whatnot, where if you do receive our funds, there's agreements that some of those funds don't get applied to loans and other things. So there's other benefits as well.
Okay, wow, that's incredible. I mean, I know time's moving on, and I'm wondering, are there any other questions about scholarships?
No questions. I'll just make a comment. Apply.
Apply.
Apply for anything and everything you're eligible for.
Okay, and I know that was one of the things. A lot of kids just don't think, oh, that's only for $50. And I'm thinking, you know, if you sit down and you write out an application and it takes you an hour or 2 hours, how much did you make per hour? That'd be $25 an hour just for a $50 scholarship. It's worth applying for everything, as much practice as you can get, yes.
My question was, is this scholarship available to undocumented students or those who qualify for the California Dream Act?
Yeah, our scholarship. We do ask for Social Security, but it's optional. It's usually mostly just to try and help us identify students to the best so that we can have unique identifiers. Also to note, our scholarship is due on March 15th. So.
Okay.
I just wanted to add something with the East Bay College one about the GPA, because that's one of the biggest questions we always get. So our on average, our scholars on average, their GPA coming from high school to college is about 2.7 to 3.4, around there. But even though that's what it says on the requirement, we accept any scholar lower than 2.7 and higher than 4.0. So even if you see that, don't let that deter you not to apply. Still apply, because there's so much more besides grades that we also look at that balances a lot of stuff, like, again, your involvement. So it's not just GPAs we're looking at. So make sure you still apply even if your GPA falls below 2.7 or is above 3.3 or 3.4.
Okay, I'm going to ask Marem a quick question. Marem, what about managing your money while you're in college? Any advice that you would have for students?
So I'm Musli.
Musli, I'm sorry. Here's Marem was speaking. Musli.
So managing money is very important in college. For me, my biggest issue was just making sure that I could pay for everything on time. And so the financial aid office was one of my go-to places. I made sure to try to limit my loans amounts as much as I could. Also,
okay. Yeah. So that's wonderful. So okay, we've coming to a close, and I'd just like to come if there are some quick advice that you'd like to give, Jose and Cynthia. Enter your
zip code at calgrants.org for Cash for College workshop.
Calgrants.org, okay. And this is Marilyn Harriman for CCC Live, the Counselor Community Connection. Make sure you apply for your FAFSA, get involved with your students, manage your money when you're in college. That'll be a time for another conversation. Bye for now.